Alright, this video will be talking about financial aid options you have as a medical student, not only in the application process, but when you are enrolled in medical school as well. There are lots of options for you, so if you feel like you won't be able to go to medical school because you can't afford it, just watch until the end of this video and see if you have the same thought. I'm sure there is something in here that might help you. Here's the same outline we used in the costs video, just to illustrate how many different things along the way will cost you something. Well, when we look at financial aid, we can go ahead and knock some of these off the list because there really just isn't anything available for some of them. Afterwards, we are left with three things: the MCAT, primary admissions application, and medical school itself, which is by far the most important to get financial assistance for. The rest of these that are crossed off are either too cheap to warrant financial aid or too specific for there to be any programs for it. Rather than go through these categories one at a time, I think it will be better for this video to talk about each program one at a time. Let's start with the Fee Assistance Program sponsored by the AAMC. This is like a financial bundle where you get assistance in multiple ways. If you qualify and are accepted into this program, you will receive access to some MCAT prep resources, but only once, regardless of how many times you are accepted into the program. The cost of the MCAT itself will come down a substantial amount, and you will get 2 years of access to the medical school admission requirements database that the AAMC has. This is basically a giant database they have created with all the different GPAs, MCAT scores, and whatnot that these schools over the years have accepted students with. The big saver here is the waiving of the application fee through AMCAS. You will be able to apply to up to 20 schools for free, which holds a little over a $1,000 value. If you are interested in the Fee Assistance Program, check out the link I have attached here to see if you qualify and how to apply for it. Unfortunately for you Texas residents, there isn't any financial assistance to be had with your TMDSAS application. But luckily, that only has a one-time flat fee no matter how many schools you apply to, like I discussed in the other video. If you are applying to a DO program through AA COMAS, there actually is a small aid program that will cover the initial application cost of $198. You will still be responsible for the additional cost of applying to each subsequent school, but hey, at least this might save you $200. Check out this link if you want to know more about it. And unfortunately, that's pretty much it. There aren't many options with financial aid in the application process because the giant sum of money needed to actually attend medical school is the main focus of aid programs. If you need a reminder on how expensive medical schools are, go back to the video on how much everything costs and look at the statistics at the end of the video. It's expensive to say the least. But for now, let's pretend you have been accepted to a school and now need to figure out how to pay for it. There are 4 kinds of financial aid you can receive as a medical student to help pay for your medical school: federal loans, private loans, institutional financial aid, and you can receive scholarships. We are going to go through these one at a time, and I will be providing a lot of links for you to check out any specific things that might catch your interest. Starting with federal loans, these are typically the most forgiving and reliable of any kind of loan. Regardless of what kind of aid you will end up using, I recommend you go ahead and complete the FAFSA because it is free and most schools work with FAFSA to help students. You will need to check with your school's financial aid department to see what their FAFSA requirements are. For instance, FAFSA views you as an individual, so you won't have to give parental information, but sometimes the school itself will require that of you, so you might need additional information when completing your FAFSA. Make sure to also use the FAFSA website to find your school's federal code to ensure that the results of the FAFSA are sent to the correct place. Federal loans typically cover the exact cost of admission and nothing else. If you are eligible, you will typically be offered a direct loan, which you will have to complete an MPN for. Don't worry, I put in the link where you can complete an MPN so you won't have to look hard for it. There are 2 different kinds of direct loans: an unsubsidized loan and a plus loan, which the latter requires a credit check. So if you have been keeping up with your credit score, definitely use that to your advantage here. Like I said before, Federal loans are typically much more forgiving, and there are lots of programs that can help you pay back your loans. The last link will take you to a page full of these programs that you can search for based on where you are located, but it isn't comprehensive by any means. If you Google financial forgiveness programs, you will find many options that will help you if you need it, paying back the loans once you graduate. On the other hand, there are private loans through programs like Sallie Mae, SoFi, and Discover. These programs are easier to get because there isn't an application process that you have to qualify for, but there also isn't any protection with these programs. You have to be careful with private loans because they are great if you feel confident about paying them off, but if you start to have trouble with that, you can end up in serious debt with no programs to help you. Look at each individual program and what interest rates they are asking for, what benefits there are, what the timeline looks like. Any information you can find out will be good for you. You will have to plan accordingly. I've put the links here for a few of them, but you can honestly just Google private loans and see if there are other programs you would prefer. Institutional financial aid is usually offered directly by whatever school you will be attending and is run through the financial aid office. Typically, when you apply to a medical school, they will take your financial circumstances into account and see what you qualify for in regards to financial aid. Once you get accepted to a school, get into communication with the financial aid department and have a discussion about what you might be eligible for. Be prepared to provide any information they might ask for, such as Social Security, parental information, household income, things like that. There isn't much I can provide here since it is a school-specific thing. All I can do is inform you of this option and make sure you know to get in touch with the school's financial aid team. Finally, we have scholarships, which can come from many different places. If you watched my video on Premed organizations in the college section, then you remember me saying how some national organizations will offer student scholarships. Go check out that video if you want to hear more about that, but if you are already a part of a national organization like Alpha Omega Epsilon, then see what options are available to you. Schools will also offer their own scholarships to incoming students, so go to your school's website to see if they have any scholarships you can apply for. However, I think the easiest way for you to find a scholarship you might be able to apply for is to go look on the national level. There are hundreds of random scholarship programs just floating around out there that you can apply for. Dr. Shemasian is well known in the medical school application space for helping people get accepted through his programs. And here's a link to 40 or so scholarships he has listed out for you that you can apply to. Each scholarship will have the value, links to the applications, and the eligibility requirements, so definitely check that link out. And just like that, we have gone over all of the financial aid options that you have as a soon-to-be medical student. This video was meant to be informational and give you an insight into the many different options you have and where you can find them. But because finances are super important, you might want to discuss strategies with family or advisors about what is best for you and your future.